Well, good evening to everyone here at the Event Center and to those joining us online. First, we'd like to thank you for caring about your neighbors and your community enough to be here and show your support. So congratulations, give yourselves a hand. Very good. It's moments like this that will help make our community stronger by us all coming together. My name is Rita Davis, and I'm a member of the Citizens Advisory Board, or the CAB team here in Bevel Oaks. This event is just one of the many efforts our team does to bring the community together. With those of you who are also members of the CAB team, please stand and be recognized. Fantastic. For anyone who isn't familiar with our Citizens Advisory Board, feel free to speak with any of these members. Not me, I'm just kidding. And make sure you get a copy of our mission statement and initiatives that's been provided on the table to the right, my right, your left. If you're interested in joining our team, you can also visit the City of Bevel Oaks website and click on the Citizens Advisory Board tab for more information. Now, at this time, I'd like to ask you all to stand as we open the meeting in prayer. Would Travis Tombray please join me at the front to lead us in this evening's invocation? And I would ask that following the invocation, you remain standing for the pledges.
Let's pray. Father God, I just thank you for today. I thank you for everyone who is here, Lord. I thank you for this community and everyone who lives herein, Lord. And Father, we just ask for your blessing on our meeting tonight, our time together. We invite you, Lord, to be a part of this meeting and a part of what we're building here, Lord, in Bevel Oaks. Lord, I'm reminded unless the Lord builds the house, we're all going to labor in vain. Or unless you are watching our city, we're going to stay awake in vain. Lord, we ask you to come and help us build this community, Lord, as we seek to honor you and we seek a safe, prosperous community. So, Lord, give us wisdom. Give all the city council wisdom and all the inhabitants of this community wisdom, Lord, as we move forward. Not just knowledge, God, but the ability how to apply knowledge in the correct way. I pray that upon our community, Lord. Bless us as we move forward, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. And would Army veteran Charles Kramer please join me at the front to lead us in the pledges of allegiance to the American and Texas flags.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to you, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. You may be seated. And at this time, it's my distinct honor to introduce the moderator for this evening's forum. This gentleman serves our community in probably one of the most important ways any of us could, and for his service, we are thankful. We are also thankful that he recognizes the importance of our city, this event, and that he cared enough to fill this post for us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the Superintendent of Hardin-Jefferson Independent School District, Mr. Brad McCathern, affectionately known as Coach Mac.
Thank y'all very much. Thanks to Ms. Rita, the CAB team, City of Bevel Oaks, each of the candidates for understanding the importance of events such as this one. I will tell you that I'm notorious for going off script a little bit, so I'm going to apologize in advance. As you said, I'm the superintendent of Hardin-Jefferson ISD, and just to introduce myself real quick, this is my 31st year in education. I've worked in Kuntz, in Warren, and now this is my 6th year in Hardin-Jefferson. I've got 3 grown kids. I've got 1 grandchild that's about a year old, and so we're enjoying this phase of our life, and I just want to thank you again for the opportunity to come out and moderate this evening. You know, Hardin-Jefferson ISD is made up of a lot of small communities, and each small community plays a role. And so it's exciting to get out and see these events in our communities. So thank you again. Absolutely, go Hawks. So honored to have been asked to moderate this event, and I'm able to serve the City of Bevel Oaks community in this capacity this evening. Okay, we'll be starting the candidates forum in a few minutes, but before we do, I have a few requests and announcements to make. Ask everyone at this time if you would silence your phones and electronic devices, make sure that we don't have any interruptions. So this forum is a public service providing you with an opportunity to hear from each candidate as they address your questions and concerns in a group setting and face-to-face. Citizens of Bevel Oaks have had 2 weeks to submit questions online and here tonight prior to this meeting. The questions submitted cover a variety of topics that the citizens feel are important for these candidates to answer. We will ask as many questions as this time that is allotted allows. Some of the submitted questions that are of similar nature have been combined in an effort to be more efficient. The questions have been evaluated, printed, and placed in this bowl in front of me, and I will draw a question and read it to the candidates in the numerical order of the draw. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer their question. We'll have our timekeeper in the back. They will let you know when you have 30 seconds, 15 seconds left, and when your time is up. So keep an eye out for him in the back. The last 10 minutes of this forum will be for the candidates to leave us with some closing thoughts that they have prepared. We also ask that there be no open comments, questions, or gestures during the forum. We want to give the candidates their due respect and ample time to answer the questions that have been submitted. If you have specific comments or questions for any of these candidates, other than the ones that have been asked here tonight, you're encouraged to reach out to them personally after this meeting. Okay, so at this time, we want to give each of these candidates an opportunity to introduce themselves and tell us a little more about who they are. We also ask that the audience refrain from applause, except for right now, as we give a round of applause for each of these candidates. So take a moment and give them their appreciation. Candidate number 1 is Casey Carl. And so, Mr. Carl?
Yes, my name's Casey Quarles. I lived here in Beverly Oaks for 5 years. Me and my wife does. And I'm from the state of Florida, but I moved to Texas back in '82. Been in Texas ever since then. Lived in Jefferson County probably for 10 years or so. I graduated from Deweyville High School back in '98. Did not proceed in college. I went to mechanic school, and I've been a mechanic all my life.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Carl.
Yes, sir.
Candidate number 2 is Jim Wright. Mr. Wright.
Thank you. Jim Wright, I'm running for re-election in Ward 3. I grew up in South Park, went to South Park High School, went to Lamar School of Engineering, graduated from University of Tennessee with an MBA while I was working in Tennessee. Moved back to Texas in 1980 and lived in Bevel Oaks since about '82. All those years I've been out here, I was not involved in politics as far as running for office or participating, other than trying to be a good citizen and a good neighbor. But I decided 2 years ago, because I was not really pleased with the progress the city was making as a result of Hurricane Harvey. It seemed like we were stagnant, and in the last 2 years, I feel like that we've made a lot of progress on trying to get back where we were, but we have a lot to do and got a job that's just not finished yet, so I'm hoping to be able to finish that job. So thank you.
Thank you. Candidate number 3 could not be here tonight, so we'll move to candidate number 4, Roger Manette.
My name is Roger Manette. We've been here for a little over 5 years now. My wife that I've been married to for 20 years is from the Groves area. I grew up in the Houston area. My background is quality control inspector, and I was approached to, my concerns about the community and such forth, and I felt like I could contribute to help improve our neighborhood. I'm just a regular blue-collar worker, and I am willing to help out with whatever issues where I can listen to the future councilmen and our residents and try to come to a resolution and try to move our neighborhood forward. And I thank y'all.
Thank you. And candidate number 5 is Ms. Stephanie Kramer.
Hello, everybody. I'm Stephanie Kramer. I was born in San Diego, moved to Arizona when I was 5, and lived in Arizona for about 37 years, and I decided I was done with Arizona. I wanted a place, small town, out of the suburb and big city and the hustle and bustle, and we settled here in Bevel Oaks. And I'm so happy I did because Charlie, my husband, we've only been here for about 2 years. We rented on Thousand Oaks, now we've bought on River Bend. Haven't met a lot of people on board too yet, but I hope to. And I think I come with a background of planning, forecasting, budgeting, real estate, both commercial and residential. And I believe my abilities to forecast and anticipate headwind and challenges are innate in me, and I've proven that in a 25-year career in aerospace that I don't have a degree for. So I'm hoping you guys see that I bring a lot of power here with that, with the knowledge of that. So that's it.
Thank you. Thank you all for your introductions. We are now at the point where we will begin our question and answer portion of the forum. So please understand that these candidates have not had an opportunity to review any of these questions. I'll ask these random questions in the same order in which each candidate introduced themselves. So our first question, to draw out of here. First question will be for Mr. Carl.
Yes, sir.
All right. What can be done about the water bills? How would you tackle any changes to the water billing rates? People who are not elderly and on limited incomes were not included with any rate relief previously. These are astronomically high compared to other cities in the Golden Triangle, in which they include trash and garbage, and Bevel Oaks does not. Our bill ranks up with our electric bill almost. Only 2 of us live at home.
I would come forward and try to see what I could do about lowering the water bill to start with, to see if we can't knock off some funds on that. And then for the, let's see, you said?
This is the water billing rates. Like, how would you tackle that?
I would work towards trying to find out why our rates are so high, try to get them to go down some on our rates. Because I do know, living in Bevel Oaks, our bill is higher than when I lived inside of Jefferson County. And so I want to see about getting it dropped for the billing price, and then see if we can't get the rates to go down than what they are now.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Same question, Mr. Wright. And I can reread any portion of it if you need me
Okay, a couple of questions on the water rates are high. They're high for everybody compared to the other people we're going to go to. And part of that reasons that we're just a small city, and the expense of running a water and sewer plant is just not cheap. The other part is that we have passed a bond issue, actually it's before Harvey, to do away with the sewer treatment plant and sell our sewer to Beaumont, basically is what we did. We installed the pipeline that ties into Beaumont. So we have a collection system where we pump the sewer and they charge us for that. And we are hamstrung by what they charge us. The rates of Beaumont have been steadily going up. That rate has gone up once, had gone up this year. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't go up next year. But we have been able to pay off the loan on the meters that was done here not too long ago, and we were able to reduce the user fixed fee $6. That is looked at every year. Hopefully next year we'll be able to see some reduction on that. But the water rates are reviewed every year, and there's just not a lot of room to do anything. The positive is they haven't been raised. Now that doesn't do anybody a whole lot feel good, but that is a fact. And bond would have been a lot more had we chosen to rebuild a new sewer plant. And talking to the TCEQ people and the folks I've dealt with, that was one of the best things we did, was get rid of our sewer plant and not have to worry about putting the fluid into Pine Island Mine and maintaining the system. So that's positive, basically what we've got is a collection pond. But to answer the question is, I don't see the rates going down, quite frankly, other than the fixed fee.
Okay, thank you. All right, candidate number 4, Mr. Manette.
Well, Jim has the most experience on that, and I don't know a lot about all the technical on why we're paying the rates that we are. I would have to get more involved with the mayor and the city councilman and figure out the reason why we are at the rate that we're at. Because I have not seen, the evidence of why we are, except according to Mr. Wright, he has a lot of the experience on the background. All I can do is, being new to this, to that situation, is to get with the city personnel and see what can actually be done.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Kramer?
I agree with Roger. You would want to probably discuss with the person that's been heading up the project and dealing with the water, and converse with Jim probably, but also with some new eyes, and maybe auditing the meters, and also, is it a one-off? I mean, when I've had 2 homes in the area now, one was completely different than the other home, and it's just been us 2 the entire time. So, we probably want to look at some of the property lines. Let's root cause first before we jump into this as a systematic problem. But also, are there any grants or exceptions to be made for small cities that we haven't uncovered? Like, let's look into, do we have to do an audit every 2 years? Can we have an inspector do it that's half the cost? Look into things like that we can ease back on some of the costs, basically.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, back to Mr. Carl. If you could only choose one hot topic of this city to tackle, such as water bills, drainage, loose dogs, overgrown properties, which one would it be and why?
I would go with the drainage issue. I think overall the ditches and the culverts in people's driveways are halfway full of mud, grass, dirt, trash. And I noticed all the ditches are full of grass growing through them. And right at the culverts, there's a lot of stoppage for the water to actually flow through to go where it needs to be drained through. So I would tackle cleaning all the ditches, including the culverts, to fix the drainage issue.
Okay, thank you.
Sarah?
Mr. Wright?
The vacant houses and overgrown lots, to me, would be the biggest issues. There's a number of fairly large issues, but I know that there's a group that's been working on that pretty hard, but that's still an eyesore. When you drive into the community, you'd like to see every house looking nice and painted and a picket fence around it in the yard mode, and not have tires painted white and dirt buried in the ground. I think the overall appearance would be my number one.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Manette?
On the drainage is really my hot topic. I would like to see on surveying being done on the flow of our drainage, and is it draining properly to the canals when it's needed, and checking like Mr. Carl was saying, on if there anything blocking for the drainage and stuff like that, overgrown areas, which kind of complies with also the way the overgrown houses and stuff, because of those properties and areas aren't being maintained. That's extra blockage for our drainage. I would definitely like to see the surveying of the elevation and such forth for the flow of this water and where it's being backed up, and see how we can tackle it to get it to flow correctly.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Kramer?
I've personally cleaned out a vacant home ditch myself, and they do have drainage problems, so they kind of go hand in hand. I believe that if we don't do both at the same time, that we could face some challenges with our own property values. We are heading into a very challenging ratio of vacant homes, rented homes, and homeownership, as well as retired residents. So the city really needs to focus on this quickly. It needs to be laser focused on it. And those are, I can't separate the two. Sorry, because I've personally done it. So,
All good answers.
yeah.
Okay, moving on to the next question. Come back to Mr. Carl. If you're elected, what do you think the hardest part of serving on the city council will be, and what would be your plan to overcome that challenge?
I would say probably being able to finance it, like to clean the ditches out, you know, or lowering our water bill.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Okay. Mr. Wright.
Repeat that question.
All right, if elected, what do you think the hardest part of serving on the city council will be, and what would be your plan to overcome that challenge?
I think one of the hardest parts is working with 6 council members, including myself, in a positive way. We've made a lot of strides in that so far, but it's always a challenge when you have 6 different views and six different ideas on how people can make things better. And that's going to be a challenge. It has been. We've been really good about dealing with it, and I think this is going to be a challenge going forward, especially with some new people on.
Mr. Renette.
For me, I would like to be able to, where we're listening to each other on the council board, but also listen to the residents. No matter what, you're not going to please everybody. It's just facts of life. But to be able to take those concerns from the residents and bring it together and see how the best outcome could be, and explain as technically or shortly as possible why this way is, you know, if you want to talk one-on-one, and why I decided this direction. Because it all needs to be, it needs to come from both sides and then come to a middle ground. And that's how I would tackle the situation.
Well, Roger's taking all my answers, so. I agree with that.
I swear I'm not looking at your notes.
I agree with the residents. I think that would be my biggest struggle. I don't know many people. I'm new here. That's good and bad because I have fresh eyes, but bad because I don't know the history and the challenges you guys have had. But I need to hear voices, and I struggle with how to get everybody together. And thanks to the CAB, I think this is a great idea. Lisa and Jeff, thank you for inviting me, and well, all of us, but all and putting this together. But I really need to get out, and I think that would be my biggest struggle. So I think I'm going to borrow Bud's golf cart and go door to door. So please do not shoot me, because I want to hear from you. Because you know, we're such a dynamic community. I've seen young, old, middle, you know, small houses, big homes, and everyone has their own different needs. My needs are not going to be your needs, you know. I'm blessed to not have full property taxes because of my veteran husband. I'm not going to sit there and tell you to take a higher tax rate this year. You know what I mean? I'm going to get your opinion on it. So that's the thing that we need to do, is really, what are the needs of our community and the greater good? I'm always going to go back to the greater good. And if we can't come together as 6 people, then we've got a problem. You know, as 6 people, we surely can find a middle ground.
Okay, thank you. Good answer. Okay, Mr. Carl, what experience have you had in your lifetime or career that you feel have prepared you to be a good council representative for our city?
Because I do a lot of volunteer things around Beverly Oaks. I'm good at what I do. You know, I'm a great listener when it needs to be, and I work a lot, you know, and I want to see things happen in our neighborhood that used to happen back before Hurricane Harvey came about. And so,
Good deal, thank you.
yes, sir.
Mr. Wright?
I've spent a career in various management positions from different leadership roles, and that's one of the things that I think I bring to the table is being able to lead, plan, and manage, and work at different levels of operate, maintain, strategic levels that you have to do, and that's kind of where we need to go at this point, is to focus a little, shift more from the fix what's broke to let's make things better avenue, and that's kind of the direction that we need to move, and that's kind of the skill set that I've had and bring to the table.
All right, thank you. Mr. Manette?
The last half of my career, I have served as a quality control inspector, heavy industrial projects, also the border wall project. I'm used to dealing with issues and problems and to move the project forward. And I feel like that could play a big role on moving certain things forward. That's how I see it. I like to have the challenge of situations, and I can listen to both sides, just like I do on the project sites, and give my honest opinion, which, you know, on a job site, I have to retain to specifications and the drawings, but there's always those ideas that we can move forward, and that's what I want to do, just move our community forward the best way I can possibly do.
Thank you. Ms. Gray?
I would say what I bring to the table is probably root cause analysis and problem solving. And in my aerospace career, I do that daily. In addition to crunching numbers all day to nauseam, I can figure out what it's going to cost 2 years down the road for your property taxes. I can do that in Excel, you know. So those are two things, in root causing and figuring out what. Getting to you got to figure out what the root is before you just throw money at it to solve something. It's like throwing water on a fire that has oil in it. You know, if you don't know it has oil, then you're causing a bigger problem. So that's pretty much how I would tackle anything, and that's probably my biggest strength.
All right, next question. What is your plan for getting the county to repair, regrade, clean out the drainage ditches? Great question.
What's the budget?
Could you repeat that?
What is your plan for getting the county to repair, regrade, and clean out the drainage ditches?
I would come forward to the mayor and say, Ms. Sherry, we need to get a plan going to where we can get these ditches cleaned out, the culverts cleaned out, and to where we can have a better drainage issue here in Beverly Oaks.
I want to ask a clarifying question. What about the county?
The county.
So getting outside of the city into the county, into Jefferson County.
Okay, like getting with Jefferson County people to get the drainage company out here to, I think it's DD6 who would do the drainage, get with them to set up a time and a date for them to come out and start cleaning our ditches out.
Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Wright, same question.
One of the things we did last year was that it was really after the town hall meeting that we had, that some of y'all may have attended, that we had the 60 or 80 issues on the board, and we kind of categorized those and divided them up. And one of the things that the result came out of that was where we broke down those various fields of endeavor and basically had the standing councilman either select or they were assigned certain duties on those. I had the water and sewer operation, and I believe it was Doug that had the drainage and district. So I would, as far as me dealing with that basically would be his lead to deal with the county on that. The role of the other councilman would be more or less to bug him to see that that's what he's doing. Now, if I had that responsibility, and that's probably going to shift after this election, since Doug's not running. But if I had that responsibility, I usually have to hook up with the DD6 is one entity, the other is the county, and we've got a new commissioner who's been fairly friendly with us. He's been at a number of our meetings, Brandon Willis, and you just have to sit down with them and kind of go to loggerheads with it to say, hey, we're not getting what we're doing, because we are paying the county to do that stuff, and like roads and whatever, but that's not the easiest thing to get somebody to do that. But, that's what I would expect Doug's replacement to be doing. Maybe Stephanie.
Thank you.
Yeah, I totally agree with Mr. Wright. The first step would be to set up a meet with DD6, get them out here, walk or drive, whatever it takes, the area, and go with the past experience on the guys that have worked with these issues and go forward from there.
Roger's doing all the answers. No, he's good. Yeah, same thing. I mean, you gotta, well, whoever worked on it last, let's get them out here, resurvey, make sure every job can end up with rework at times. Maybe there's something that they did incorrectly, let's have them relook at it, where there's no cost and it's just on them. And then get their opinion and take it to the county. If the county's not willing to do it, then is there some sort of grant or something we can look into to get that done? And if it's severely a big problem for a resident, we get out there and help them. That's what we do.
Can I suggest that maybe we reverse order of the questions or alternate these first?
Sure, absolutely.
Suggestion.
Yeah. So she-
Yeah.
Get the chance to use your own answers.
I feel like a broken
All right, I'm
record
gonna
over
start from the
here.
bottom.
Carla, great.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Thank
I like
you.
it.
Okay. You get to start.
All right. Now watch, you give me the hardest one. Thank you.
All right, let me dig back in here for a minute. Okay, if elected, what strength will you bring to the council to help keep it focused on bettering our city?
Oh man, okay, so I've already called real estate agents. I'm not even on the board and I'm already calling because I think we have a challenge ahead, you guys. I've heard people say we have growth. We do not. I'm telling you right now, we really have to focus on getting these vacant homes done. And I don't care if that's us constantly going out there as a community team and keeping it clean, because the second you drive down this road, I almost drove in here and thought we were duped when I moved here. Seriously. Because we all need to understand this is our biggest investment that many of us are going to make in our lifetime, right? I'm on equal playing ground as everybody else. We have the same investment. If we don't start focusing on that, our investment is going to tank. And I'm not trying to be the Debbie Downer here, but it's the truth. In 5 years, we have the last part of baby boomer population retiring. They get lower property taxes, that's less money to the city. Okay? Sometimes they get a savings on their water bill. I think that's the truth. Don't quote me, but I think that's what I've understood. It's going to grow by 10% in the next 8 years. 10% retired community. There's nothing wrong with retirement community, but you have to have a good mix. So my strength is understanding the market and the economy and the challenges our families face with a horrible economy trying to raise children. So we have to create things here for them to do. So lots of community events like Jeff's been doing. So there's lots of things that we have to do or our investments are not going to survive.
Stephanie's been looking over at my notes.
The highlighted part.
I knew that was coming.
So, yeah, I totally agree with that. It's a, you know, everything she said, there's not much more you could really add to that. That's really hitting the nail on the head. And I would, you know, move in that same direction as best as my ability.
Mr. Wright?
I think staying on task is not the easiest thing to do. It's easy to plan, but developing a plan, prioritizing your activities, first identifying the issues, developing what your solutions are to those, prioritizing those, and staying on task, and being able to modify what you need based on the changing dynamics in the climate that we're dealing with. It's kind of what you want to pay attention to. I'm not sure I'm answering the question, but staying on task is the key that we get off of in the meetings sometimes periodically, and sometimes we forget what's the most important thing to do. So having a plan, developing a plan, sticking with it, and executing.
Repeat the question, please.
If elected, what strength will you bring to the council to help keep it focused on bettering our city?
Okay. Like everyone else is saying, the condemned homes that we have all through Beverly Oaks, keeping the yard maintained, you know, come up with a plan of maintaining them, you know, throwing the trash that's on the side of the roads, you know, getting it all picked up, and make sure we stick to this plan of maintaining these condemned yards and all the debris that's sitting on the side of the street as well. You know, get it all picked up, and I would stick with it to make sure it happened.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we will stick to that order that you catch up.
Sure.
What area or issues of concern in our community do you feel most passionate about and why?
Good question. You know, there's really, I found, you know, I'm on Facebook. I found some posts, and I've also attempted to get the fingers going when you want to complain about something. I really think Facebook can be good, but this is what needs to happen, and more people need to come here. I don't care if we bring them cookies. We need to get the residents here that have the same investment as we, because 20 people isn't going to cut it. I can't make a decision for a ward that is not vocalizing their concerns. So that's the biggest, because in Arizona we didn't have communities like this. We didn't sit on our porches. We didn't have, you go to an HOA meeting and you don't even get to talk. So please feel blessed that you have this. You're not an HOA. We have ordinances, but that's for a reason, for safety and things like that. And I just want to incentivize and have people come and make them feel like their voice is heard, first of all. So that's why they would continue to come. So.
What area or issues of concern in our community do you feel most passionate about and why?
Definitely the first impression when someone would drive in here, how it looks. Of course, you know, it is moving forward on some of these abandoned houses and the property that's not being maintained. But that is a first thing right off the bat. Somebody drives in, maybe they're looking for an area to move into and going, oh, I don't know about this. And then not really drive our city, our neighborhood, but like Stephanie said, we really need to get the neighbor, the city, everybody involved. Come to these meetings, whether, you know, with the events, so that we can say, hey, we really want to hear what you got to say, you know, so we can discuss this and move forward and try to make everybody as pleasant as possible. But the main thing is, for me, is the way it looks. And yes, also I'd like to see part of this is the aggravation of responses on Facebook, you know, instead of attacking, just hey, let's sit down and talk about it. You know, whether or not if it's like an old-fashioned picnic and sit out here and say, hey, these are the issues we have, how are you doing, who you are, and really kind of beautify our city. You know, I think that's the most positive thing that would move us in some other directions.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Wright.
My passion, I guess that I would have to say that my passion is about water and sewer. 'Cause and I'm going to avoid saying what just came through my mind to keep my daughter from getting on me after the meeting. It's a tough job. But I really am. You know, one of my goal is to be able to provide high quality water to all the citizens of Beaumont in a reliable manner, in a cost efficient manner, the best cost efficient manner that we can do. And those are things that I actually think about every day. But that is my passion. And we have done some work on it. The very first couple of months I was on the job, I was looking at Facebook, and somebody had posted that they were smelling chlorine in the water. Well, it had to be a rainy day, and I was new to the council, and I didn't have anything to do. And I said, well, let's go look, you know. And at that point in time, I hadn't really been given the responsibility of following the water sewer operation. So I go to the water plant, kind of find out what had happened is that one of the pumps had kicked off, and the chlorine level had gotten high in the tanks. Well, one of the quality measures is chlorine residuals, and I won't go into that. And we run it on the low side for that reason and a couple others. But if it goes up, it's still within limits. It's still safe drinking water, but it's like anything else. If it changes, you can detect it, and you jump into some swimming pools, and your eyes burn. Some of them don't. One of them's got too much chlorine in it. It doesn't kill you, but it's not good. So anyway, what I found out was the pumps all run at the same time, or they all shut down at the same time. And one of them kicks off. The chlorine feed system is calibrated just to meter chlorine in if all three of them run it. So one of them kicks out, it keeps putting the same amount of chlorine in. So I said, well, that ain't good. So anyway, long story short, we modified the system. We got that in. We have equal feed now. Just last couple of weeks, we had a test run on our water treatment system, an aeration test. It's a possibility of improving water quality by taking out some minerals that might be in it. So those are a couple of things, one that got done, one of them that we're looking at now. So that's kind of where my passion is, to make this. I would like when they drive in the street down there, you'd say Bevel Oaks Superior Water System.
Okay.
And we're close. We're close.
All right. What area or issues of concern in our community do you feel most passionate about, and why?
I feel most passionate about our drainage issue we have with our ditches. And, you know, because you can come down River Bend, Sweet Gum, Thousand Oaks, Idlewood, any street, and notice that the ditches with the culverts are halfway full of grass and dirt. And I'm more passionate about that because I know we dealt with high water flood during Harvey, and we don't want to see that again. So if we keep a good drainage system around here, we would be better off.
Okay. Thank you. All right. We're going to turn back and go back to the other direction now.
No, give Roger the first question.
Why are you throwing me under the bus?
Give it to Roger. Yeah, let's go for it. The lead, yeah.
Okay. Everybody agrees on that? We'll
Yeah,
start
who
with
cares?
Roger? We're flexible.
You can ask me because I can't remember the question time it gets back around.
We'll be second this time. All right, so Roger, what made you decide to run for this city council position?
So I was approached, and I definitely prayed on it, thought about it. When it came down to it, I think I have some valuable skills from my work history that I can really move things forward. I would have a lot to learn, of course, on all the technicals of the city being run. I just want to see a better community and try to move forward. But like I said, there's a lot that I have to learn. There's a lot of things that I don't know about how to run a city. So all I can do is give it my best shot and go forward.
Okay. Mr. Wright?
Yeah, I kind of addressed that in my opening remarks, but I decided to run the first time 2 years ago because I really was just not satisfied with the progress that the overall city was taking. Following up Rita, it seemed like we did the essentials, and there were a few grants that were obviously in the works and were going on, but it seemed like things weren't moving very fast. This building, City Hall, was still gutted and vacant, and had been, 5 years since Harvey. And the other thing is, the reason I'm running for re-election is that there's been tremendous progress made on that front, but we've got some other things going on that I would like to see to conclusion. We're working on some bond issues, grants that hopefully will put us over the hump on some things. And we recently agreed to hire 2 different grant writers that will focus on developing an overall plan, and we'll do some work on our water sewer system, however we choose to do that. But one of them's $300,000 grant, and the other one's $750,000. And I've been a little involved in that, so I'd like to see those things through to fruition and keep moving forward. The council we've been working with this last couple of years has really been great. There's been a lot of things accomplished, little things, big things, and if you look at the 5 years after Harvey and compare it to the last 2 years, I don't think that there's any comparison to what's been done in the city. Y'all may agree or disagree.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Carl?
Could you read the question again, please, sir?
What made you decide to run for a city council position?
All right. I decided to run for city council because I've always wanted to get in something like this, to be able to run for a councilman and serve for the city of Beverly Oaks that I live in, to better our whole neighborhood, no matter what ward you're in, better our neighborhood with our drainage problems and all this, and our water problems and all this. And, try to get everybody out of the community, because we used to be a community back in the day. And I like to see if we all can't get back to the point to where we used to be, before this disaster happened 5 years ago.
There's one more.
I don't remember who talked to me about the city council opportunity, but I did start coming to some meetings well before that, and I saw areas that I could contribute to. I'm not going to even say improve, because I don't even know, right? I'm not sitting there, I'm not in their shoes, don't see it all day, but people too. Just getting to know your characters and lifestyles and the kids playing and seeing. I mean, everybody wants to be able to protect their home. This is your sanctuary, and if we don't have the right focus and dedication, there's nothing. So, I mean, it takes the community to do it, and hopefully we represent you well.
Thank you.
So we have time for one more question before we move on.
Okay. Okay, we will start with Mr. Wright this time. What is your opinion or knowledge of having an active neighborhood watch program in our city?
Well, I think it's a good idea. As far as knowledge of one, I don't have any knowledge other than there was one here before, and there has been some in Beaumont when I've lived in there for a while. But a good neighborhood watch program is really going to have to be citizen driven. It's going to have to be, and the citizens going to have to be involved, going to be more involved. can be supported by the council and the mayor as far as leadership goes, but it takes, it's gonna take a lot more than 6 people to have a good neighborhood watch program. And maybe even some city money spent to have electronics or surveillance, like, you know, we got a dumping problem down there on River Bend right now. Wouldn't hurt to have a few cameras down there telling you who that is, but that's kind of my opinion about it.
Mr. Carl.
I agree 100% for the neighborhood watch. That's something we ought to get into. Like Mr. Wright was saying, you know, maybe some of the people that live here, the citizens that live here, to help watch out the neighborhood, because I've noticed people dumping things on River Bend. You know, and I've heard that people being dropped off in the middle of the night in the neighborhood, and, you know, things like that. So I agree that we need a neighborhood watch. I don't know if anybody in the city would want to do that, or, you know, should we get some of the Jefferson County sheriffs to drive through, you know, because we do get speeders that drive through at night. Because, you know, I live right down Thousand Oaks, and man, you're always hearing someone driving fast down Thousand Oaks, you know.
Okay.
I think we have a neighborhood watch because you see it all over Facebook. I think we don't need vigilantes out there thinking they have some responsibility to take care of a problem. That's what I don't want, because that creates unsafe issues. But we do have a ton of kids, over 200, ton of elderly, ton of single people that may not have eyes and ears all the time available to them. So I kind of like the idea of, you know, increasing, I don't want to say surveillance, but at least in the entrances or something like that, you know, where no one's property is really being monitored, because I think that's invasion of privacy. But we definitely want to capture any thief on their way out.
Yeah, definitely would want to set up a meet and greet with Jefferson County to see how they've dealt with those type of programs, to make sure. I mean, if we need it, yes, I would go on, but I would definitely want to get with them and see the proper way of setting it up, seeing what type of volunteers we have, and like we say, that we're not cops, you know, if you see something, you're going to report it, but we would have to see how the proper litigation of it would be our responsibility, and how to handle situations.
Okay. All right, great answers. We have hit the point right now where every candidate will have 2 minutes to give closing remarks. And so I'm going to go back to Mr. Carl, and so you'll have 2 minutes to make any closing remarks you'd like to make, that you'd like to leave everyone with.
Okay. Once again, I'm Casey Carl, and I'm running for your Ward 3 councilman for this term. And I would like to see the ditches to be cleaned out. I would like to see our water bill go down more than what we had seen. And I think I could do a good candidate for y'all, because, you know, I want to see Beverly Oaks get back to where we used to be. You know, with a great community, you know, the best neighborhood to live in the great state of Texas, you know, is Beverly Oaks. And we want to make it back that way, you know, to where we can tell our grandkids, hey, we live in Beverly Oaks. And they go, oh, yeah, we know that place, you know. Because I would like for us to be recognized on the state of Texas map, you know, for our great neighborhood.
Great answer. Mr. Wright.
Yeah, closing. 2 years ago when I decided to run, I kind of sat back and said, okay, why do I want to do this? And one of the things I developed was my own vision for what I thought Beverly Oaks would be. And I might not be able to articulate it like I wrote it down, but that's basically a quiet country-style place that people would want to come and raise their family in a safe manner. And that's sort of my vision. And once I have that vision, then I started identifying what are those issues that are keeping us from being in that place. We've addressed most of the major ones here tonight, water rates, ditches, images of the houses, and there are several others we can go through. I think one of the ones I had that hadn't been addressed is the transparency of the activities of the city council. And I think we made a lot of progress in the last 2 years, but there's still a job that needs to be done. We've got, we're now, we're sort of the top of the curve, and we need to continue pushing forward. We need to get these grants. We need to be able to invest the money that we have. We need to be able to work smart. We've got a lot of challenges around our infrastructure system. One of the biggest issues is infiltration of our sewer system. We've got to address that, and it's going to take grant money to do it. So I've been involved in that. I've not only got familiar with it on the last 2 years, I've had prior experience from other jobs working in the water and sewer system. So I would like another 2 more years, and then I'll turn it over to whoever wants to go next.
All right. Thank you.
Again, Roger Manette for Ward 1. Like I said earlier, I don't know all the deep particulars about running a city, but I'm eager to learn and move forward. But I want the community to know that I'm not somebody that just wants to sit on the councilman board and vote on things. I want the community to know that I'm here to listen. If it's a one-on-one, and talk about these things, you know, what your real concerns are, that we can move forward. I just want to help improve our neighborhood, whether it's the water, the drainage, the way our community looks, and the atmosphere around here, and just be involved in everything I can possibly do to represent y'all properly.
Stephanie Kramer from Ward 2, and if I'm elected, I guess I would really hope that you would, how do I want to say it? See the improvement that has been done so far, and appreciate the fresh eyes, even if you don't know me, and would appreciate fresh eyes on the infrastructure of the city to move it forward and potentially see things that maybe you're not even seeing yet. And then also, thank you all for coming. Just wanted to tell you thank you. It's great to see it. And I wish I knew each one of your names, and I don't, but I look forward to seeing you in the near future. So.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you all. On behalf of the Citizens Advisory Board, I'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight, and thank those of you who joined us online for participating. Especially like to thank the candidates for taking your time and being part of the democratic process, running for office and being willing to serve your community. I'll tell you that y'all have all made valid points tonight, and probably one of the things that I agree with, that I deal with, is that, you know, there are those that will get on Facebook and tell you what's wrong, and then there are those that get out and do and come with solutions. And so I'm very impressed with everybody here tonight, from the advisory board to the candidates, to the community that's working on coming out with solutions and trying to fix problems. Because while I was not through here for Harvey, that was the very first thing that I dealt with when I came to the school, and that was rebuilding a school, and everybody's been working on that ever since. So thank you for all your time and your effort and the time you're going to put forward in the future. Please, if you don't remember anything else that's been shared tonight, remember this. First and foremost, you're all a community and your neighbors. I think that point's been made several times tonight. Especially during election cycle, opinions, emotions can run high. And so at times it can get the best of us. So know that kindness, understanding, and lending a helping hand goes a long way. Secondly, the best way to have your voices heard is with your vote. So become a part of the democratic process, get out and vote and be a part of the solutions. Educate yourself, pray, consider who deserves it, and in your opinion, who has earned your vote. But please get out and vote. So this concludes the 24 Meet the Candidates Forum. thank you again, and God bless you.
It's nice to meet you. It was nice to meet you. Yes, sir.
Casey, Jim, don't forget your little card in here.
Oh, I won't.
Nice to meet you as well. Thank you.
With that?
I'm starting the sundown, so I'm getting tired.
Okay.
Yeah, I reminded the boys over there to take their card. Thank you.
I was nervous. A lot of times I was like, I wish I could be standing to kind of answer some of these questions. But I thought better when I was standing up.
I did too. Well, and then when you're last, you're thank you for this. But you,
Well, it was a good idea, and I'm trying to recall the way it was set up, but when everybody was like, yeah,
Really want to work.
it's hard to go last.
stumbled because I remember when Jim said, and I wanted to say that. Sure. Tell me what to do.
One of the things I got for me to get across is I'm a fresh pair of eyes, and I'm not going to have all the answers. The only way that I can is to talk to the community and the concerns.
How'd you think I do, sir? Thank you. It's my first time ever running this out. It's time
Oh my
to
gosh, well, work from home, we're on Riverbend,
Yeah.
elevated that changed. So we just moved there in September, sorry, I just moved down to But I would love to hear your input, especially if you serve on council, how long
To represent me, and if I see that, I'm all for it. It's whoever can do the right thing for us. So that's what it's all about. It's not about us, it's about
Process, I didn't know how, I had not built this model.
Yeah, it does seem a little disconnected.
When I was the superintendent before, and I had my own wastewater plant, so I've dealt with wastewater plants, TCEQ, and all that stuff before.
I mean, I think the only thing
I've seen the uncharted field. But, you know, you throw it in each other, and try to I think everybody here has really good voices. It's very difficult. No matter what happens, I was
Yeah, and that's the problem. We are facing kind of a generation smashing where they're quite different. We've got a good mix, but it's starting to get heavier on one side and we don't end up with community involvement.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I don't back down. I work with men my whole life. Yeah, no, they're all doing good, but I've listened to the answer back and forth. I'm like, I don't play these games. You can't. I live with a Charlie right there. And my husband is one of the biggest internet trolls on this earth. He will troll anybody. I'm telling you. And I tell him, like, you quit that.
Secretary for the city.
Oh.
Kept the secretary for the city. So we no longer have a sheriff who lived here. And they did that, and he sat right there, and I got out of the room. Yeah, I said,
Well, let me tell you, the numbers that I've been looking at, I know they're numbers, but I do it. Very pleasure meeting you. Yes, sir.
hello.
No, it's
I'm
fine.
past that.
My parents just retired last year. I've been parents are extremely young. Charlie, but, so they're retiring. So I sat through all the preparatory budget, and their plan is that the same thing that happened last year is gonna happen next year. I'm realizing there's a gap there. I'm thinking that we're not gonna do that again next year. We're not gonna have the same revenue because we're gonna have less property taxes, less water rates, and then you have more renters. renters, because we creep up that 50%, our investments are done. We will not recover. So no one's gonna buy it. No one buys a rental that you should rent. If you rent it for 2 years and you can't rent it out, but once the property's been rented for like 10 years,
That's true.
so understanding the market, so I called a realtor to see if she would prepare something, but it was too short notice. Yeah, so.
Hang in there. You want to take a picture of this so you see,
Yes.
reach out to these people? And
Well, one of them.
I am in your board.
Oh, you are?
So yes, nice to meet you.
Oh my gosh, I thought you were sitting over there, and I'm like, where's, I even asked her, I said, where's this Melissa? I don't know Melissa, because I worked out there.
Yep.
And no one got into you. I'm so sorry, I didn't walk over to say hi.
But just thought you might want to, just in case. It's not meant to be you, so.
I am gonna be, and whereabouts do you live?
I am on River Bend, behind the church.
Okay.
Taz and I are together.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're the car shop people.
Yeah, in fact, I told Jeff when we were talking today, I'm like, I'm so glad that Taz got up there. I said, good for him.
He's all about,
You know, not that he really needed it, but I just, you know. Yeah, I like, now Bud and I get along, but maybe not fiscally, budget-wise. Yeah. Thank you for talking to me. I mean, we heard. It is what it is, but I loved it. I grew up with my dad working on old cars, right? We had a 1968 Camaro, Ford Broncos. I was the first person in my family to have a car with air conditioning. Let's just say that. So when I was 16, and so when this old car show, I immediately sent videos and pictures to my dad. Oh wow, look at that Ford truck right there. It was probably one of the biggest ones there, but it was a cute little Ford.